welcome back to the most extra Star Wars trivia show this side of the abandoned temples on Yavin 4. I'm your host, GJ Stoutimore, and tonight we're once again diving into the most offbeat and tangential Star Wars lore that you've never heard before. You know the drill. Every Tuesday I get the pleasure of bombarding this guest with questions from obscure behind-the-scenes fare to the weirdest facts about the galaxy far, far away, pulling out all the stops. So, Sean, grab your force pike. Wait for that one last command cough from General Grievous.
Sure.
And let's prepare for another deep dive into the Star Wars universe. Everyone, let's welcome back a recurring guest. To know him is to love him, the man behind some of the most heavily watched Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon content available to consume on the internet, and a not-so-closeted Star Wars nerd. So your favorite YouTuber, Sean TankTop. Tank, welcome back to the show.
This trivia will make a fine addition to my collection.
Sean, how would Watto say the same thing?
Jedi trivia. I don't know about any Jedi trivia in these parts. You know, like only money.
Well, let's go back to the gravel box voice days of the Empire Strikes Back version of Boba Fett.
Sure.
What did you make of Boba Fett? Were you a Boba Fett fanboy back in the day? Like put Captain Solo in the cargo hold.
Yeah,
put
Captain Solo in the cargo hold.
Or did you not care? Were you like, this is just a side mid character?
It's a cool fucking, like a cool looking, like a cool looking character, a good design. Originally kind of thought to be like this new upper echelons of stormtrooper, but then they were just like, we're gonna kind of do something different with him. I think cool design, and that's about as far as it went. Other than like, you know, in some of the stuff that I would read, like Tales of the Bounty Hunter, which is kind of like one of the first things that sort of like purported that he would actually survive the Sarlacc pit and shit like that, that I read when I was a kid. As far as like I mean, like, I don't know. Sometimes like it's Star Wars, baby. Sometimes shit's just kind of looks cool.
You have some knowledge of Boba Fett then in the Bounty Hunter.
I got a little bit.
Let me ask you a question.
Bit in the back coffers there. Yeah, for sure.
Why did everyone find Boba Fett so likable at parties? Because he always brought the bounty. Let's get into our topic for this week. Let's make like Darth Vader and duke it out until our bodies catch fire. Let's play. Today's category is bounty hunters, Sean. Interesting factoids from the Disney canon. So this includes all the movies, the live action shows, the animated series. Books and comics, even those published after the acquisition.
So
hang on. Those have been omitted. So no books, no comics.
Okay.
Just the films, the TVs, the live actions.
And in the current Disney canon timeline, etc. So
correct.
Okay, cool. All right, cool.
Correct.
All right, fine.
Okay. Question 1. This bounty hunter defeated the warrior Gar Saxon in combat. Excuse me. Oh, let me try that again. This bounty hunter defeated the warrior Gar Saxon in combat, but refused to kill him even though he wouldn't yield. Is it A, Sabine Wren, B, Forlom, C, Boba Fett, or D, Dengar?
Ooh.
Defeated the warrior Gar Saxon in combat, but refused to kill him, even though he would not yield.
That I'll tell you this. That sounds like something that Sabine would do. It sounds like something because she's a little bit more. I mean, she's a little tough, like Mandalorian bitch and shit like that. But she's an artist and she's whatever. I mean, like Dengar is like the only other recognizable other than Boba Fett.
Sean's like 3 out of 4 are the only recognizable names to me.
Right. Well, no, I think because I feel like Boba Fett is low hanging fruit, but I'm the one that gets shit on in here. Okay, I'm the little punishment.
That's correct. That is correct. All right, let me stop distracting you. So it's either A, Sabine Wren, B, Forlom, C, Boba Fett, or D, Dengar.
I mean, like Dengar and Sabine are like the ones that, because Boba thinks he seems like he might not do it, but fuck. I'm gonna go Sabine Wren. I'm gonna lock it in. Sean's pick of the week.
Sabine Wren. The thing about Boba Fett is it seems like low hanging fruit, but also you can like Sicilian yourself out of it. You can be like, well, if I choose Boba Fett, then obviously I can't.
I'm literally sitting here doing the Princess Bride because if I picked Boba Fett, then I would be the clever man.
Yeah,
but knowing that you trying to bait me with Boba Fett
cannot select the
Boba
Fett in front of me.
Yeah, exactly right. Absolutely, 100%.
All right, so you're pretty sure about Sabine Wren?
I mean, not really. I would say it would probably be between her and Boba, just because of the fact that they're both giant pussies in the fucking in the bounty hunter game, as far as I know them. I mean, like, they're both tough, but in the Disney continuity, like, there's so much more.
That they're like maybe not.
There's so much more of an anti-hero, and they're so much more sympathetic and stuff like that. So that's where I would go with that. But so, I mean, but it is Boba's thing, and so maybe it would make sense. And again, it's kind of just sitting there. I'm gonna go Sabine Wren. I'm gonna go Sabine.
Sabine Wren, A.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Sean. Some people have wondered if Admiral Akbar or Jan Dodonna were actually good battle strategists, or if they were just lucky that the Rebel Alliance didn't have anyone else. But it doesn't matter because their plans worked. They were right, and so are you. Congratulations, Sean. You're winning for this one. Your first question is what you won for one so far.
I
Not
knew
so bad.
that she didn't have the metal to do it. I mean, that's just with the kind of anti-hero, these really nice, lovely, soft lenses that we're putting on these characters. It was either going to be her or
let's hear about Sabine Wren in this particular battle and a little bit of lore coming right now.
Let's see if I can talk about this duel without turning this into a segment just about how much I love Sabine Wren. That'll come later though, so just hang in there. Gar Saxon was a Mandalorian warrior known for his loyalty to the Empire. The guy's a real piece of work, and if you want to get into more Gar Saxon lore, I just recommend you watch the entire series of Clone Wars and Rebels. I'd be here all day talking about what a dirtbag Gar Saxon is, but anyway. Among other things, Saxon leads the Imperial Supercommandos, a bunch of Mandalorians who back the Empire, and obviously Sabine does not. Sabine's possession of the Darksaber is ultimately the catalyst of their confrontation and duel. This is a pretty radical oversimplification, but you get my drift. Now, it is important to remember that Saxon is a really, really experienced and dangerous combatant. This guy's been around since the time of Darth Maul. I mean, he's really kind of a badass, and the fact that Sabine Wren, at the age of maybe 17 at the time, is able to defeat him one-to-one in single combat is incredibly impressive. Ultimately, Gar Saxon wields the Darksaber and Sabine wields a lightsaber. She defeats him, disarms him, and holds both to his neck and tells him to yield. He does not, but she spares him. Even though it's not the Mandalorian way, her way is the way of mercy. Of course, Gar Saxon's a big prick and he tries to attack her from behind after she showed him mercy, and Sabine's mother intervenes and kills him, and there ends the life of Gar Saxon. I always thought this duel was a nice preview of some of Sabine's skills that we would later see and pay off in the Ahsoka series. Even though she's not at the level of some, even mid-tier to elite Jedi, she is an incredibly savvy and resourceful combatant. The fact is that she dusted somebody at 17 who many people on Mandalore couldn't hold a candle to. In the end, Gar Saxon died as he lived, shot dead trying to stab one of his own people in the back.
Was that like in like a specific episode of like Rebels or something like that? Like or is that just lore?
Yep.
Okay,
no,
it is. Cool.
It was
all
an
right, awesome.
episode of Rebels. Yep.
Okay, sick. All right.
All right, let's jump to question 2, Sean. Well done. Maybe it's going to get a little bit more difficult now.
Okay.
Question 2. This bounty hunter was known for teaming up. Big point there. Was known for teaming up and was present on the Executor in The Empire Strikes Back to meet with Darth Vader. It is A, Zuckuss. Yes, that's a real bounty hunter. That's his real name.
Yeah.
B, IG-88. C, your boy Dengar makes an appearance again.
Okay.
Or C, Dengar, or D, Busk.
Ooh.
The question again, I'm going to read the question again.
Please,
This
yeah,
bounty
yeah.
hunter was known for teaming up and was present on the Executor in The Empire Strikes Back to meet with Darth Vader. There will be a substantial reward. for
Right.
the one who
Yeah,
finds.
exactly. We don't need those rebels. We don't need that scum.
Bounty hunters. We don't need that scum.
Yes, sir.
The officer that says, yes, sir. Like,
Yeah,
he's trying
right.
to
Yeah,
get promoted.
he did. Like he literally. Again, he just like.
The
Also
guy works in
because-
tech. He's like me. He's just trying to get promoted. So he
Right,
just
right,
agrees.
and
He's
also,
like, yeah,
he's
you're
just
right.
like, I'm just a yes man in this whole kind of corporate sort of like type thing or whatever it is. I'm basically doing like the fucking office.
He joined the Empire because he needed a job. bro.
Right,
That-
absolutely.
that's-
He's just like, he's like that back deck isn't going to build itself, and like your boss says something weird, and you're just like, okay, you know what I mean? Like when
Yeah,
your boss
sure.
like, we're just like, I don't know why we have to keep hiring all these Mexicans and stuff like that, to like do whatever, and you're just like,
He goes, "Yes, sir."
okay, like I'm gonna go find
Yeah.
HR or whatever. So he's like, yes,
Yeah.
sir, because we're talking shit about bounty hunters as they're standing right in front of us. These ferocious fucking guys. No, I'm thinking. Okay, because I wanted to say that Dengar and IG-88 were the fucking were like a duo from what I remember reading in Tales of the Bounty Hunter, and I feel like I could be wrong, but frequently pairing up with people, I want to say IG-88 because it seems like he would be. He's probably a very useful tool, but occasionally needs a more deft touch, I would say. Like as far as like just things that motherfucking robots can't.
Someone's remembering Mando. It sounds like someone's remembering Mando a little bit.
Right. And there's a
IG
little bit of
units
that, right? And so, I mean, like, I'm gonna go IG-88 mostly because he's just a walking.
BIG-88. Is that your
Yeah.
final answer, Tank?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay, well, Sean, just like Boba Fett in Return of the Jedi, you are unwittingly falling into a dry, fangorious, living pussy hole. Incorrect! The answer is A, Zuckuss.
Zuckuss?
Teamed up with Forlom.
Hey,
yes,
Zuckuss.
that's
why
right.
don't you can zuck it, you fucking piece of shit. Like, you fucking,
Let's hear a
you
little-
fucking nobody, zero, nothing. What the fuck are you talking? I've literally never
I don't
heard
think he
of
was
that
very
shit.
good, or Forlom.
Where was that? Where's that coming from? Like, where is that a Genesis
Empire
from?
Strikes Back. Listen,
Which one was he?
He was the big bug-looking one.
Oh, the
Forlom
fucking
is
like
the
the
droid
kind of
next
he's
to
got
him.
like a praying mantis guy, and he's just kind of, but he looks like a praying mantis just getting ready to go fight a fire.
Yeah, he's a Gand Findsman. Anyway, we're going to the lore video now, to the lore bit now to tell you a little bit more about this. We'll be right back.
In The Empire Strikes Back, Zuckuss is one of the bounty hunters summoned by Darth Vader aboard the Star Destroyer, or Super Star Destroyer, Executor. Zuckuss was portrayed by Kathy Monroe and brought to life through practical effects and makeup, which were hallmarks of the original Star Wars trilogy's production. The design of the character is actually pretty cool. His distinctive appearance with insect-like eyes and a respirator mask reflects his Gand heritage and his need for a specialized breathing apparatus, which contributes to his alien and enigmatic presence. He's depicted alongside his partner, Forlom, which emphasizes the partnership they have as bounty hunters, and this partnership is further extrapolated upon in Legends canon, which we're obviously not talking about here, but throughout their careers in that canon, Zuckuss and Forlom took on numerous high-profile jobs, often working for the highest bidders, including the Empire and the Hutt Cartel. Their reputation as a duo was well-earned, as they consistently demonstrated their ability to capture even the most elusive and dangerous targets. Zuckuss is a master findsman. With his connection to the mystical traditions on Gand, he uses techniques that seem almost like divination to locate his targets. His skills make him an invaluable asset to the bounty hunting world. Anyway, there's no sense waffling on more about it. It's pretty simple. That is the lore behind Zuckuss and Forlom.
What a crock of shit, dude. Fuck that. Fuck Zuckuss. I mean, like, it makes sense. It's a stupid name for a stupid, shitty
Zuckuss.
character. Like, again, he just sort of looks like he goes like, hey, do you need like a get up to make the Green Goblin from the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man look embarrassing? Sure, I got you. No
Zuckuss.
problem. Zuckuss is here to save the day, you fucking nothing. Jesus Christ. Anyway,
All right, well, here's question 3. Maybe this will redeem you a little bit.
0 to hero.
Question 3
Zuckuss
is
to
this:
0.
which bounty hunter had the shortest career? Is it A, Jango Fett, B, Zam Wesell, C, Sabine Wren, and D, Cad Bane?
It's got to be Zam Wesell. Well, I guess it kind of depends on. I don't exactly know how long they were a bounty hunter before that. I mean, but also, but I can't imagine that Sabine would be the correct answer twice. I'm also deducing this shit. I hope you appreciate that. By the way, like
I appreciate your effort. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Appreciate your effort, not your knowledge.
appreciate it.
Not your
It's
knowledge
great.
or your dignity or self-respect, like or anything. No, but
On Tank Top, we don't need his scum. Yes, sir.
yes, sir. Yeah, no shit. I mean, like, well, I mean, but Sabine was crazy young, so that could stand to reason that she had a very scant career. I'm gonna go Zam Wesell, who was the changer that was so fucking stupid that they wouldn't actually utilize their ability to change into somebody who looked different. Like, wouldn't change their appearance
Fair.
because they know what I look like in here. So even if I reverted back to my original
But Sean, hey,
form-
listen, it's only the new shows that have inconsistencies.
Yeah, no, total, absolutely, right, 100%. Yeah, whoever, yeah, somebody was smoking some fucking death sticks when they wrote that scene.
You know what I do appreciate? So let's get is B your Zam Wesell your final
Yeah,
answer?
I'm just going by that. I think like as much as I could think it would stand to reason that Sabine could possibly have very much like the shortest one. Like, I'm gonna go.
It's a
with
good thing that Morgan's not in here, by the way, because when I think of that Zam Wesell line, it's like, who hired you? It's just a job.
Yeah, right.
Like Morgan be like, buddy, just trying to earn a living.
buddy.
in the
God, they're just
galaxy."
trying to make ends meet. You know, like
absolutely.
and also they couldn't be in the game that long because she was like, yeah, I'm just gonna release some bugs into the room. What if they crawl away?
Right.
What like
Well,
like who?
So your final answer is B, Zam Wesell.
I'm gonna go Zam Wesell. Yeah.
Okay. Sean, much like the Jedi Coleman Trebor's attempt to confront Count Dooku, where he just got murked by Jango Fett, you have also failed. Incorrect. The answer is C, Sabine Wren. your logic was correct.
It was.
She was just
It
a
was.
kid, very short career.
So Sabine Wren gets two fucking like. If the next correct answer is Sabine Wren,
like, who is my crush in Ahsoka?
I'm gonna reach through the fucking computer and fucking mangle your ass.
Time to talk about one of my favorite Star Wars characters, and that is Sabine Wren. There's a defining characteristic of the character that I think is relatively overlooked in fandom right now. One of the things from Rebels that I found really interesting about Sabine was Grand Admiral Thrawn's infatuation with her. It's not like a weird type of infatuation, but it was an infatuation with her art, her means of expression, and her intelligence. Real recognized real when it came to Grand Admiral Thrawn, and I think that his infatuation with Sabine Wren was maybe finding somebody who had the intellectual capacity and the, I guess, artful genius that he had. The respect he has for her is obvious, and even though she was a teenager, the fact that Grand Admiral Thrawn, one of the most brilliant people in the known galaxy, would identify her as somebody to be admired and studied says a lot about her. Sabine is an actual genius, a design and artistic prodigy who designed weapons the Empire would use to enslave her own people right around the time she was the age of a middle schooler. Now, we don't know exactly how long Sabine was a bounty hunter, but best estimates include up to 6 to 8 months to as long as a year before she fell in with the Ghost crew. We know from her call sign as Spectre 5 that she's the 5th person to join the crew, with Kanan, Hera, Chopper being 1, 2, 3 respectively, and Zeb being number 4. Like, it'd be weird to call someone Spectre 5 if they weren't the 5th member of the crew, but anyway, I digress. Safe assumptions around Sabine's bounty hunter age are made from the time she left the Imperial Academy, which was probably around the age of 14, 15. Knowing that Sabine was 16 at the start of Rebels, it puts her age right around 15 for her very short career as a bounty hunter. The fact that she didn't get killed even in that short time is kind of a miracle. I think it's pretty safe to imply that her time as a bounty hunter amped up her resourcefulness and resiliency. This is somebody who was abandoned by her family. Every semblance of normal was taken away from her, so you have to imagine that somebody with an abandonment complex, a genius-level intellect, and interest in pyrotechnics, explosives, and art is probably going to become a really good warrior. Oh, and they're also a Mandalorian from a pretty prominent family. So whereas one of the things I do like about Rebels is it introduces us to more kind of rooted, I don't want to say mid-tier, but like, you know, more accessible characters like Kanan Jarrus, like Ezra Bridger, who are gifted but not completely inaccessible, Sabine stands out as a true prodigy amongst that group. And this is shown right away in Rebels, that she's one of the most competent fighters in the entire group. She's resourceful, she's clever, and ultimately she's invaluable to the Ghost crew. Personally, I would love to see Disney explore this era through animation a little bit more. We've seen them dive into some truly epic animated short stories with Tales of the Jedi, following the Inquisitors. I would love to see a bounty hunter segment that includes Sabine Wren. That would be very, very cool. But anyway, when compared to her contemporaries in that list, Sabine Wren's career was much shorter.
Solid guess.
A double Sabine
wrong.
Drop. Fuck this fucking shit, dude.
Oh well, Sean, you're gonna have to answer a question 4 right if you're gonna. If I'm
gonna get 50%. If I'm gonna
that's right.
If I'm gonna get an F, I got you.
All right, this is a good one. I actually like this question a lot.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I'm sure that means really good things for me.
Question 4 is, which bounty hunter's infamous battle with Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Clone Wars cartoon is no longer considered canonical?
Ooh.
Is it A, Jango Fett, B, Zam Wesell, C, Dirge, or D, Cad Bane, or E, Sabine Wren? No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, what fucking that motherfucker. Wait, Dirge from? That's not from the 2D Clone Wars. Well, no, that would give the answer away, because that's not canon. Because it's about it no longer being canon, right?
That's what the question says.
That's okay.
The question says, which bounty hunter's infamous battle with Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Clone Wars cartoon is no longer considered canonical?
And the Clone Wars cartoon, specifically the 2D one, the Tartakovsky one, right? Right? Or not Tartakovsky.
The question says, this bounty hunter's infamous battle with Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Clone Wars cartoon is no longer considered canonical. Okay. Your options are Jango Fett, Zam Wesell, Dirge, or Cad Bane.
Let's go Dirge.
Okay, C, Dirge.
Dirge. If it's the one that I'm thinking of.
I find your lack of failure disturbing. Somehow Sean Tank's memory has returned. That is correct.
There we go. Hell yeah. And which one was Dirge again? Which one was Dirge?
Dirge was the big, huge samurai-looking guy. He looked like Shredder.
But he had a bunch of sinewy, like spaghetti monster shit going on.
Yeah, that's who he was underneath the armor.
And he was a hired gun, and he got
blown up, and then he put himself back together.
Right. And he rode like a fucking, like almost like a chopper with like a
it's a swoop chopper.
Yeah, basically. And he almost, I think he even had like a. what do you call it? Like a joust or something that looked kind of.
Well, don't say
similar to a
too
joust.
much about Dirge. We're going to cut away to some lore right now and let people hear a little bit more about him, and then we'll be right back.
Dirge is one of the scariest bounty hunters you'll ever see in Star Wars. Known for his impressive resilience and near immortality, he's a Jedi, a species with extraordinarily long life and the ability to regenerate from almost any injury, making him a formidable opponent. He has a particular hatred for Mandalorians, which is rooted in his personal history and experiences with them. But let's talk about his duel with Obi-Wan. He first appeared in the 2003 Star Wars Clone Wars animated series produced by Tartakovsky. He's working with the head of the Banking clan and serving as a mercenary for the Confederacy of Independent Systems. This is a pretty gnarly duel because Obi-Wan pretty much thinks he's murked and murdered this guy numerous times. Like he's not holding back at all. It cuts off his arm, cuts him in half, explodes him from the inside. It's a very gnarly duel for a children's cartoon, but be that as it may, Obi-Wan went for the kill. Of course, that was not the end for Dirge. He survived this encounter and showed up in numerous comics and other, now non-canonical, legend sources. He was heavily included in the Star Wars Expanded Universe, which was rebranded as Legends after the Disney acquisition of Lucasfilm in 2012. This meant that any characters and stories from the Expanded Universe were no longer part of canon. However, he was introduced into Star Wars canon in the Marvel comic series Dr. Aphra in 2021. With this new iteration, Dirge's characteristics remain similar. He continues to be depicted as a dangerous and nearly indestructible bounty hunter. This reintroduction has solidified his place in the current Star Wars canon. However, his duel with Obi-Wan is no longer considered canonical.
Well, that's
That's
about
right,
Dirge,
motherfucker.
Sean.
It's Dirge. Dirge up in this bitch. You know that's what's up because I fucking said it. No, I'm just like, I just gotta take these W's where and when I can get them because
What my favorite thing
Thank
is
God it
like
wasn't
the
Sabine Wren.
liquefaction of Dirge after he was blown up.
yeah.
Legend has it they put that in the cans and they sold it to kids in the late 90s. They just
It's
called
Gak.
it Surge.
He's a Gak guy. He's a guy made a Gak. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you
Sure,
can't-
there's an opportunity for a graphic of Surge with Dirge's head
something.
on it,
Yeah, but he looked like fucking like that shit, like Gak after you had it for a long time and it had like
Yeah, no, he
a couple
did.
of pennies and like some hair and shit in it and like like
You're not wrong.
a button or two or something like that. Yeah, that was no good.
Rest in peace, canonical Dirge. I hope they bring you back someday. That is all the time we have. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of TankTop Trivia. Join us right back here again next Tuesday for more of the most extra Star Wars trivia you've ever seen. Until then, goodbye, good night. And if you're like Rey Skywalker, living out in the sweltering desert, wearing the same thing every single day, at least take a fucking shower. May the Force be with you.
It's Star Wars. Nobody changes their clothes. Nobody changes their clothes.
Yeah, fucking true.
They don't.
Um,
You see some of those
All right.
like fucking concept arts where like Harrison Ford has like a beard and like a cool long duster and shit, and you're just like, what the fuck are we doing?
no, they
here?
gave him the same old jacket. Well, he's like, no, different
Yeah,
jacket.
different, different. Yeah, right. But also eat my fucking ass, like Kasdan. I can't believe it. You guys fucking stuck with that.